Hugh Hefner.
Good, good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, who's late, the Nigerian moderate Republican, or the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd, who has lost his mind. I don't know what in the world he's got on. Tonight, Stephen will talk about NASCAR in the Poconos this past Sunday and what's coming up next week. The horrible, horrible assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump and what the Secret Service did and did not do. Todd and tennis. He'll talk about Wimbledon's winners and losers. Senator Menendez was convicted and calls are being made for his resignation. President Biden tests positive for COVID and ammunition vending machines. Have you ever seen one? An ammunition vending machine is popping up at grocery stores around the US. The machine uses facial recognition so that if the buyer doesn't match with the scanned ID, then the machine rejects the sale and more. If we can fit it all in, first up, Stephen, with NASCAR in the Poconos. Stephen, what happened?
Pocono is a
We can't
great
hear you.
race.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Pocono is a great race. I hope you went, Stacy, because it is close to where you live. And it was an awesome race. It was just very competitive. But I had Blaney winning the race, and he didn't really have too much of a chance till about maybe 10 laps to the end of the race, and they had to pit. And they went in the pits. Well, four guys that were competitive to Blaney, they got caught speeding. So my guy won just by super chance. So this is what can happen with racing sometimes. But it was just it's a 2.5 mile huge tri-oval, and it's so much fun to watch. And they get 3 wide, 4 wide sometimes when they get crazy, but it's very exciting. It's a great race to watch, and I'm very happy for Blaney. It's the second win he's had this year. He's in a Ford, so the Fords are lagging behind a little bit. But if he keeps it up the way he's doing, he can definitely make some noise. And it would be kind of ironic after the Toyotas and the Chevrolets dominated all year if a Ford can win it all championship. So we'll see what happens. Probably they're still a big underdog. But that was a great race. And coming up this week is Indianapolis. It's the Brickyard 400. They had stopped doing it for a few years, and they made it what I love, a road course. They'd stopped doing it for a while because it got lacked in popularity. Wasn't getting enough people there. They weren't representing the way they should. So they made a road course. Well, it's now the 30th anniversary since NASCAR's been doing the races there. So they're going to do the Brickyard again. They're going to make a huge spectacle out of this, and maybe it'll bring all the attention back. And this is a very old track, the Indy track. Everybody knows about the Indianapolis 500 with the other cars, the competition cars. That track was created in 1909. It's like the third oldest track, because the first track that would be called a super speedway. And I'm really looking forward to this. I'm not going to watch any of it taped. I'm going to watch all of it live, and maybe just do something crazy and just go out there and watch it, because this is a very coveted race. This is for the drivers. They want to win this. They want to win Daytona. There's a standout race that they really would like to win. So this is coming up. It's going to be a really good race. And you got Elliott in the lead right now, and Larson and Riddick, Hamlin, and Byron. All of them can win this race. All of them are that good coming up here to Indy. I am upset that it's not a road course, because I do love a road course, but this is going to be exciting to see them do the Brickyard 400 again, and everything, all the extras they're going to do to go along with this. So it's going to be a lot of pomp and circumstance and a lot of stuff to go along with it, but it's going to be really a lot of fun this weekend. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so now I'm sorry I missed the race. It was, as Aguna says, it was Daddy Johnson's birthday. So we had to celebrate his birthday. So I couldn't go to a NASCAR race in the Poconos.
Oh yeah, that's
Now,
good. Well, happy birthday, Dad.
so let me ask you, Stephen. You said they said something about they went over the speed limit. How? What is the speed limit? Speed limit.
Oh, when you go in the pits, you have to, depending on the track, it can be 65 miles an hour, it can be 55. Years ago, there was no speed limits in the pits, and every now and then somebody would get hit, and so every now and then somebody would die. So when they changed that rule where you couldn't speed into the pits anymore, it became less of a competitive race because you have speed limits. Nobody wants that. That's not, you don't have speed limits in any, it's just crazy. Well, and we lost a lot of fans by that. But if it's 55 and you go 56, you get caught. You have to go to the back of the field. You have to go back through the pits again, and you go all the way to the back. So that's what gave Blaney such an advantage because the other guys they got tagged for they got speeding, so they had to go to the back of the track. His biggest competitors at the time all somehow got caught, but I don't know. And in your car, inside your car, you don't even know. You're kind of guessing if you're. That's why sometimes they get caught. If you had something in your car that could tell you an indicator that you get ready to go over the line, then you could slow down a little bit. But they don't have that. I guess just to make it more interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. I wanted to talk about Wimbledon with tennis with Todd, but Todd's not there. Then I was going to talk about soccer, but somehow we had some technical difficulties, and it looks like oh, there's cousin Todd. Oh, look. Thank you for joining us, cousin Todd. I see you were busy lounging around in your pajamas and then you got on the phone. Thank you for joining us. We wanted to talk about Wimbledon, if you don't mind, if you're not too busy.
He's on mute. He's on mute.
I was
Yeah.
writing my notes.
Yeah, I
So
mean, cousin Todd, it's nice of you to join us to, get off the phone and then keep your
I
pajamas
wasn't
on.
I was writing my notes. Okay. That's what I was doing. Can you
You
see
don't
all
need
that?
notes.
All right. The
So
Wimbledon.
let me share this the screen for Wimbledon's men. Cousin Todd, I assume that you can talk about the finals. Let me share this and get this going. Go ahead. It's no sound, so you just go ahead.
Okay. Who is playing? Boys or girls?
This is boys. This is
Okay.
Alcaraz and
Djokovic.
Djokovic.
Uh-huh. Let me see. Go ahead.
I don't know why it's not playing for me.
Well,
Go ahead.
you have the Obama phone, so those phones are really not meant for technology like this.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Um, so Alcaraz killed Djokovic. First two sets, it was 6-2, 6-2, Alcaraz. I loved every second of it. That's Djokovic right there. And I can remember Aguna, who doesn't know anything about sports, saying that's the only name I hear is Djokovic, Djokovic, Djokovic. Yes, and I can't stand it. But the other names you have heard was Nadal, because Nadal has beat Djokovic, and Federer has beat Djokovic. But Federer's now out. He's retired, along with Serena. Now, Venus hasn't retired yet, strangely enough. But third set, Nadal made a comeback, and it was 6 games
No, it's
all.
not Nadal. Djokovic
I mean,
made a
Djokovic
comeback.
made a comeback. That name. Anyway, he made a comeback, and it was 6 all. And so then I was getting a little nervous, but Alcaraz pulled it out in the end and won straight sets. So that was wonderful. And Alcaraz is young. I think he's only 21 or 22.
He's only 21.
So he's got his career in front of him. Now for the girls, it was a girl that I don't know, Karchankova. She won over Jasmine, an Italian called Jasmine Paoloni. And I didn't know either one of them, but both were good. I thought the Italian was going to win, but she did not. So that's it for those no-name girls.
Hey,
Well,
Todd, I
speaking
had
of
a friend that.
no-name
Oh, I'm sorry,
girls,
Stacey.
speaking of no-name
Girls.
girls,
Hmm.
here we are. Let me show it. There's your no-name girls who looked like they were playing very, very well.
Yeah, they were.
What were we going to say, Steven?
I was going to say that Todd, I have a friend that was a huge tennis fan for decades, and is a huge Federer fan. And now Federer's gone. He didn't even watch this tournament. I mean, that's crazy to me because I thought you could be such a fan. How could? But he loved him that much. Like you love Serena. You know, it had that same kind of effect on you. And I thought about you. I was like, man, it's really hard when somebody you pull for every time is now not around anymore. It's tough, man.
Yeah, but I liked Federer as well. He's probably my favorite player, but
Yeah. So it
uh,
makes it hard watching tennis now without them playing. That's all
not
I'm saying.
necessarily because you
Okay.
have younger people. You really just have to get into it because you have Nadal, who's still there,
Right.
and who's right alongside Federer and Djokovic. But
Nadal retired.
Nadal retired.
Yeah.
When?
Wait, you're saying Nadal did not retire?
That's what I'm saying.
Let me look it up. Oh, he has not retired yet. He's 37 years old. He's kind of old
Would you
to be
shut
playing.
up? Now you're trying to make excuses to get him out. So no, he is not retired. Have you retired? So anyway, Serena has retired, but Venus has not.
Venus is older, right?
What difference does it make? She has not retired yet.
No, I'm just saying she hasn't retired and she's older than her sister.
Listen,
Serena.
you ageist person.
I'm
Who's the
not saying to
oldest
be I'm
between
ageist.
you
I'm
and
older than you.
Keith?
I'm definitely not an ageist. I'm a youngest.
But Todd is very sensitive, as Aguna often mentions. Todd is very sensitive about Serena and Venus in tennis.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he
won't
No, I'm
try to
not.
step in his
can't even see
landmines,
straight if you say anything about Serena
No,
and
I don't.
Venus and tennis,
even
and
if it's
Todd just loses
positive.
his mind.
Right. You're right,
Anyway,
Stacey.
Yeah, right.
like I was saying, Nadal has not retired. So your friend has to get into people like Nadal, who's a great player,
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
Alcaraz, who plays like Djokovic and Federer. He plays
Hmm.
like both of them. So he would like Alcaraz.
He's a freak.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
tell
like it.
him to check out
Yeah, well,
Alcaraz.
it just hit him kind of hard, I guess.
Yeah, well, he was probably in love with him, just like Keith was in love with Bruce Jenner. So when that
Mm.
happens, it does something to your heart.
Yeah, when Keith saw Bruce Jenner in the dress, it broke his heart, man.
Yeah, well, he wasn't going to date him anyway, in or out
No,
of
he
the
didn't want to
dress.
date him. That was his positive role model.
Oh,
He's
right.
a reason Keith ran so much.
Well, you know
Dating
what?
shape.
Okay, I got to move
You
on.
would know.
I'm bored.
Bruce don't
Aguna,
run the ring.
Spain versus England. And don't they have like the Kansas City Chiefs colors?
No,
They
I mean,
stole it.
they stole it. Even though Spain was around way before Kansas City even existed. But so yeah, it was actually it was a good game. It was a really good game.
Okay.
There's the World Cup comes up in 2 years, but there's also Copa, which Argentina won Copa, but and so people are anticipating Spain versus Argentina when the World Cup comes around, which the World Cup will be in the U.S., by the way. So that's going to be a very good matchup coming up.
In 2 years, they could be in the U.S.
Yes, it's going to be both in the U.S. and Canada
Oh, okay.
and Mexico.
Oh, okay. All three. The North
It's
America.
pretty cool. So it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Even though Nigeria did not qualify for the World Cup, unfortunately, so I'll have to go for the home team. And I know my son, he really loves Brazil, so that we'll see how that works out.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to move on to President Biden tests positive for COVID. And it seems like he tests positive after he has had a few, as they say, good speeches. Let's hear what they have to say. I don't know why it's not letting me. All right, let's hear what they have to say here.
Earlier, we just reported that the president has COVID. He canceled his event in Las Vegas. Speech there, he's tested positive for COVID-19. The White House saying he is vaccinated and boosted. He's experiencing mild symptoms. He will be returning now to Delaware, where we're told he will self-isolate and will continue to carry out all of his duties fully during that time. Again, that's from a statement from the White House momentarily, just a few moments ago. The White House says it will provide regular updates on the president's status as he continues to carry out the full duties of the office while in isolation.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
when you need a clip, you go to Fox News and Sean Hannity.
Have you
Why not?
ever? Stacey is sick. She is such a Trump supporter. It's just ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to Sporlitiks, with sports and politics mix and mingle. Your name is No Cap. Your comments on President Biden
And your name
testing
is No
positive for
Count.
COVID. I think there is a resurgence of COVID. It's really just coming back. I just had COVID 2 weeks ago. I got it. The COVID keeps rearing its ugly head. No Cap, you want to comment? Then Aguna, then Steven, then Keith, then Cousin Todd. No Cap.
Well, first of all, COVID better watch out before it catch me. First of all, but second of all, Chuck Schumer went to visit Mr. Joseph Biden at his home and let him know that a lot of people think that he may need to go on ahead and drop out. So this seems like a perfect time to catch COVID and have some donors talk to you and kind of convince you that, hey, man, for health reasons, he might have to sit this one out. That's all I got.
So because he has COVID, we haven't even gotten to that, but because he has COVID, he cannot run for president of the United States?
Ma'am, what else you want me to
just
say?
said-
I'll think of another disease if you want. That one will do.
Is that what you believe?
Did he just say that? Hey, Trump supporter, wake up. Did you just hear what he said? This is a good excuse to get out of the race.
I mean, it's
Todd.
a good excuse, and
Todd.
I think it's
Go ahead, Aguna.
it's very convenient, right? So all of a sudden, let's not pull the punches here. Joe Biden has had such a horrible week. Not only did he have a horrible week, but the response is not even the fact of the circumstances, because again, no one can control certain things, but the response from the Democrats and what they're doing and how they're even not on messaging around some of these things and allowing the media to shift the narratives. And I mean, it looks bad. So first thing you got to look at it. Okay, he has COVID, so we can't control that, right? But he was going to call off his campaign this week anyway, right? And the Republicans have their convention.
Why was he going to call up his campaign?
Because he was calling for unity and after the assassination attempt and things like that. So this COVID thing is very convenient as well, because it just comes as in the middle of a time where you need to show strength, right? You need to show solidarity. You need to show now all of a sudden you have COVID. He's vaccinated, by the way. He still has COVID. Again, to No Cap's point, he's getting off the campaign trail. The Republicans are having a huge surge of confidence in their convention. They're having all these speeches, everything's they're coalescing around their messaging, whatever that may be. And then all of a sudden you see feeble Joe Biden, he gets COVID, and now he's going off the campaign trail. And the last part I'm going to say is this: the Democrats, they always will fumble the ball, right? So even though he has COVID, where's his surrogates? What's the backup plan? Okay, he has COVID. Okay, now who's jumping in there and speaking, and what's the message? And they don't do any of that stuff. You just see this like crawling into a shell, and then you have Adam Schiff come out and say, get out the race in the middle, and he's in a non-contested Senate race. So it just shows a lot of weakness. It shows a lot of disorganization. It shows a lot of mixed signals. And again, this is the reason why the Republicans control the narrative so well. They coalesce around a message. You saw Ted Cruz and all these guys come and kiss the ring during the convention. So it's just, I think it's bad optics for Biden at this point. And I don't know, maybe it's bad luck. I don't know, but dismal.
Okay, all right. You don't go on and on.
COVID, all this is like a cascading effect. I mean, it's perception and reality time.
So y'all are saying they would use COVID as a tool? They would use COVID has that ever happened before in this country to use COVID as a tool?
Use it as a tool.
How are they going to use it as a tool? That's what you just said. So
but at the same time, you can't try Dr. Fauci for war crimes because he's immune.
All right, Aguna, we're not going off subject. And Stephen, do you have a comment before I move on to Keith about President Biden?
I agree with no cap was no cap.
Question.
Because this COVID is really going to be something. Aguna's right too. I think everybody can kind of see what's going on, and it seems like he'll end up with long COVID, and then he'll have short COVID, and then he'll have itty bitty COVID, and then but then this is all going to delay him, and he's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to get real sick, and they're going to use this to get him out of there because it's a disaster right now. And then the Democrats are panicking right now. Their number one guy is going down hard. And they got nothing really to lean on right now. It's a really hard time for the Democrats. My heart's bleeding.
Okay, thank you, Keith.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I would say, right now at this point, how strong is COVID? So, he says he's experiencing mild symptoms. So, by practically nothing. It's practically null and void. So I don't know why we're getting all upset about it, but it is what it is. He had a cold during the debate, so now he's got COVID.
It projects sickliness.
Okay, cousin Todd.
It shows his
cousin Todd in his pajamas and robe. Cousin Todd.
His immune system has weakened. His immune system obviously weakened.
Shut up, Keith.
They're going to.
Well, you don't have enough sense to understand that, I guess. But anyway,
okay, cousin Todd.
All you need is some orange juice.
Cousin Todd.
Okay. I don't know if he's using this to get out of the race. I'm hoping not, because he just did a question and answer session where he was brilliant about the topic was overseas, and he was excellent. But they didn't play that up at all. No station played that up. They just I don't understand that, because when you are badgered over and over again that you're too old and you're senile and you fumble all the time, then you go through talking about from Israel to Pakistan to
China
to Russia.
I didn't see it, but I'm just listing international.
But whose fault is that, Ty? Whose fault is that?
Well, that's the news media's fault.
Oh, really? So it's not a big news story, because they want to see a feeble Joe Biden. So Joe Biden at his best is not interesting.
The media wants to get rid of Joe Biden. The media wants to get rid of him. They don't want to show him being brilliant.
See, you always take something to the nth level instead of just dealing with it on the real level. Real level, as Aguna was laying out, the media, of course, if it bleeds, it leads. That's always been the case. So if you get the Biden gaffe, you push that to the top of your website. You push that as the front runner for what you want to talk about, and it gets clicks. But if he's talking about just foreign policy and diplomacy in a normal way, the average American.
But he's done nothing normal in a long time. He's never given
something normal in a long time.
So wait a minute. Let cousin Todd. Cousin Todd, are you finished yet?
No. I want Todd to finish. Yeah, I definitely want Todd to finish. I wasn't trying to cut him off. I was just trying to explain what the goal was saying. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it gets boring when you're talking foreign affairs. It really does, because it was boring watching him. But he was completely accurate. And I saw him make 4 gaffes, which was nothing. Just like Stephen.
He stutters. He stutters, so hey.
Right. And it was
what really is a gaffe, though? Because Trump makes these are old guys.
Right.
They're always making
both of them.
It's just
That's right.
because Joe Biden's brand is feeble old man.
That's
his
right.
gaffes are more, personified than
Why-
anybody else.
Yeah,
Why do
and
y'all
it
feel
was
the
really,
need to still take up for Biden because he's out of there? You don't have to take up for him
Okay,
anymore. You don't have to say how
okay.
good he is.
Let me
He's going to be
finish.
gone real soon.
Okay, all right. So
You
let
don't
me
have to.
finish.
You don't have to. You don't have to say
You
Biden's
already said
okay.
that. You already
So,
said
Stephen,
that. Keith,
I don't know.
Wait a
I
minute.
mean,
Let me stop everybody because I want to say this. We're not going to have a show like we had last week. Okay,
do
people,
tell.
I've received these comments that people think I cannot control the show. I just allow freedom of speech, but you have to allow everyone to finish their point. Now, what I'm going to do is time you and then cut you off. And when your time has elapsed,
Like the
you're going to
debate.
get cut off so everyone can be heard. But we're not going to have a show like we had last week. People really want to hear what you have to say. I was told that you all are very intelligent people.
Who said
And
that?
they really want
I
to hear
thought we
your
were having
comment.
a good back and forth conversation just then. I didn't think we were talking over each other.
No, you're a
Well, it
moron.
was
That's why you
beginning,
think
and
that.
I don't want it to go down that road. It was starting to, kind of overlap, and I don't want it to get out of control. So
Okay.
I'm going to try to
Yeah, I thought it was.
rein it
I
in
thought it was
before it
good
goes
back
out of
and forth.
control.
Yeah, I get
Okay,
your
so
feel.
Cousin Todd, you can't talk the whole show, Cousin Todd.
of course you
have to
say that
finish.
to me, but you won't say that to Aguna or the other mouth almighty. Yeah, that's him. He got his hand raised. Yeah. So you talked over me, Stephen. I know you don't realize it because you're white privilege. But
Well,
nevertheless,
All right, are you finished your point?
no,
Or
I've
you
made
thank
find
you,
a good
yourself,
Todd.
joke.
or you find yourself so funny in your pajamas you can't stop laughing.
Why do you keep saying pajamas? These are not pajamas.
They look like it. Don't
They're,
they, Aguna?
they're Louis V pajamas. Own it,
Louis
Todd.
Vuitton.
Louis V.
So anyway,
Straight off Lehigh Avenue.
this is what I was going to say, and I'm going to try to make this as short as I can. Donald Trump and Biden are completely different. And this is what I want Keith and Stephen to know. Biden is for the working class people. Trump is not. And I can give you some examples. Trump isn't interested in health care for you. Trump wants to get rid of the Affordable Health Care Act. He said that over and over. And now his running mate as well. They want to get rid of it. And so they want to replace it with nothing. Nothing. Joe Biden brought prices down for
Insulin.
diabetes.
Drugs.
That's right. For diabetes medication specifically, as well as
Todd, you have to sum
inhalers.
it up. You can't keep going
You
on
see
and on
this?
and on.
You see
Sum up
this
your
Trump
point.
supporter? As well as inhalers. They capped those
For
at
asthma.
$35. Emphysema, asthma, COPD. Capped it. Donald Trump didn't do that. He's not interested in any of that.
He
Todd,
wants everyone to die.
Todd, let me tell you, I just have one question for you. Okay. You said all that, and I get it, right? It makes sense, it's factual. But my question to you is who cares? Who cares? The electorate does. I mean, for those who are Trump supporters and those who are in the MAGA movement, all that is just want. Because at the end of the day, even if you're speaking to the moderates and the people in the center like me, right? You have to project some type of confidence. This America is about showmanship. It's about, and it clearly, and this is a media-driven narrative because who won the debate? Everybody says Trump won the debate, right? And Trump lied the whole time. So it's not even about substance. It's about showmanship. So to all of the stats, you see it on this show. Stephen and I go back and forth. I can say Biden did this. Stephen says Biden did that. It doesn't matter the facts. It just matters what the perception is on the screen, And we're in a low information voter election cycle. They're going to look at the screen. They're going to look at Sleepy Joe stumbling up Air Force One stairs and be like, we want that guy to be the president? Or do we want Donald Trump pumping his fist, after a bullet grazed his ear? It's a reality TV electorate. And Donald Trump is a reality TV guy.
Okay, but what about the person with common sense who wants health
Not
care?
enough of them vote.
There is no room in our electoral process for this type of violence. It was horrible. I pray for former President Trump and his family. I am so grateful nothing happened to him. That was a horrible, horrible thing. Let's share the screen, look at that, and then I want to talk about it a little bit more with Stephen and Keith.
And Keith, stop moving your camera. It makes it look like you're hiding a body or something. You look rather weird.
Questions about the security breach. Our Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington for us. Good morning to you, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. The young killer at the center of this investigation remains an enigma. The FBI is still working to find the reason for the attack, but police have recovered a mountain of evidence showing his fascination with guns and explosives. This morning, new details about the final stage of planning from Thomas Matthew Crooks in the hours before he tried to assassinate former President Trump.
Take a look at what happened.
Sources telling ABC News that police suspect Crooks got on the roof not by using the 5-foot ladder he may have recently purchased, but by climbing on top of an air conditioning unit. And was Crooks on a suicide mission? Sources telling ABC News he left his tactical vest in his vehicle, raising questions about whether he intended to survive the attack. And ABC News discovering new details suggesting Crooks was meticulous in designing several suspicious devices found in his vehicle and residence. The devices had a remote control aspect, intricate wiring and chemicals, though it remains unclear how effective or dangerous they may be.
The real question here is going to be, how did he plan all this to the degree that we think he did? The odd man out here is the explosives. As to what was he going to do with those?
This comes amid new questions about security failures that ended up with Trump and 3 others hit by gunfire. Officials tell ABC News the Secret Service has actually stepped up security around Trump in recent weeks in response to threats from Iran to assassinate him. But despite that, Crooks was able to climb onto a roof and fire at Trump from 400 feet away. Officials say there's no indication of a link between the Iran threats and Saturday's attempted assassination. But now growing outrage about the security lapse.
Someone's on top of the roof. Look.
Video shows Crooks on the roof moments before he opened fire, spotted by bystanders who called police for help.
Officer.
In our interview, the head of the Secret Service, Kim Cheeto, saying law enforcement officers were stationed inside the same building where Trump's would-be assassin climbed onto the roof and opened fire.
There was local police in that building. There was local police in the area that were responsible for the outer perimeter of the building. I'm being told that the shooter was actually identified as a potential person of suspicion. And so the local police department actually put a call out.
Officers responded, but were not able to stop the gunman in time. The local sheriff defending his team, telling ABC News each department had been given specific assignments and they carried them out.
The deputies under my control did their job and went above and beyond after the shooting stopped and the chaos began.
In fairness, nobody wanted something like this to happen, and many of the police performed heroically. But the fact remains, we still do not have a clear answer as to why and how that young killer was able to get on that roof and fire away, George.
Pierre Thomas, thanks.
Okay, Stephen.
Yeah, that night we were texting back and forth, Keith and Stacy and I, and I was saying this, none of this makes any sense. We agree, no, this doesn't make any sense. How could this happen? How could it happen? That this kid could be up there and kid could take a shot at the president and kill somebody in the meantime, and they had a beat on him. They knew he was around. They had all this. It's not a mystery. It's just that we can all see with their own eyes. We can all be objective. We can all say, this looks like a government hit. It's just not. That's not. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It looks like a government. The government did not do anything. They could have stopped this kid at any time. They had to beat on him over and over and over again. And for some reason, he could do this. And for him, this is what is suspicious to me. For him to have this devices in his car and all that. You know, if you're going to shoot the president, you can be stupidest person in the world, but you're pretty sure you're going to die. So what could he do with all these devices after they killed him? That makes no sense. The same way in January 6th, they never knew who planted these devices at January 6th underneath one of the buildings. But we have pretty good idea that it was the government that did that. What we have in here, everybody,
No, we
is the
don't.
government.
No,
The government trying to take out another president the same way they did JFK. And that's what this is. Anybody that's got any eyes, anybody that can be objective. And it may not come out. It may not come out that way, but it's the only thing that makes sense because this little kid had no way of getting up there and shooting somebody. He would have been
and
taken
now
out.
he's
This
a
is
little
not
kid.
this
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So-
Let me have Keith.
he's a 20-year-old kid.
Oh
Okay,
my
thank you,
God.
Keith.
Well, you
And,
know,
and let me wait, Keith, before you go, let me say, Stephen, that's your opinion.
That's
Those are
my
your
opinion.
beliefs. That does not represent the opinion of the show. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, it's all our opinions.
so I'm going to give you my opinion. Basically, you know, it has been my I've worked in security and worked in I've done bodyguard work. I've done all that kind of stuff. Never worked for the Secret Service, but I do understand how security should be worked. And I'm going to give you 3 quick points of where they failed. And this is under Kim Cheadle, the director of the Secret Service. She needs to be fired, first of all, I'll say that. And if she's not going to be fired by Biden, which she won't, Trump, that's the first thing that Trump ought to do is get rid of her. But anyway, here's the first thing. Cops took video of crooks walking around in a secure area for 3 hours prior to the shooting. Number 2, Secret Service was alerted that the shooter on the roof had a weapon. So not only Secret Service was alerted by bystanders, these are by Trump supporters. They said, "Hey, there's a guy on the roof over there," and nothing was done.
Not the Secret
Number
Service.
3,
The local police.
the rooftop was supposed to be posted by local law enforcement, but was not. So it was left unsecure. Those 3 things tell you right there exactly what happened.
Okay, thank you.
Well-
See that, Todd? See how succinct and to the point Keith made that? He said 1 through 3. He said it. It was done. He didn't do like you. He didn't go on and on and on and on and on and on.
I'll do that
Okay, go ahead,
too.
cousin Todd. Take notes. Go ahead, cousin Todd.
Okay, ready? Number 1, they didn't bother him because, now don't get offended, Stephen. They didn't bother him because he looked like Stephen, not like you, Keith. Therefore, he's got free reign to run all over the place, unlike you. Now, when you're white at a Trump rally, nobody thinks the white boy is going to harm their king. This is why Donald Trump himself said, I don't care that they have guns and weapons. This is January 6th, when his Secret Service told him they have guns out there. We see them in trees with guns. He said, they're not going to shoot me. Let them come in. That's factual. That's in the report. So they didn't think any white boy was going to shoot the president. Now, if he were black like Keith, oh, he would be full of holes long before the president got up to the platform. So he was a white boy, and he was able to do that because he's a white boy at a white rally. Now, blacks
Are you
would not be
finished?
able
You
to get
can't
away
go
with
on
that.
and on and on. We're running out of time.
Oh, look at Stacy. And if you look like Stacy, they would have filled her full of holes too. They don't care that she's a Trump supporter.
Oh, God.
Aguna.
Yeah, and this guy didn't fit the arc. I mean, again, 20-year-old guy, registered Republican in the middle of Trump country, Western PA, close to the Ohio border. This is Trump country. All right. This is not some, battleground district or anything like that. This is amongst his people. The fact that this guy had line of sight from that close, from that perimeter, is crazy to me. So I do agree that we all can tell, yeah, there was a failure there. Now, Secret Service being alerted, Secret Service is in charge of inside the perimeter. Local law enforcement was outside the perimeter. There was a failure to sweep the area. He shouldn't have been able to get on the roof. I don't know why people weren't on the roof. I mean, the fact that there was nobody up there local law enforcement in particular, because again, there are layers to this: Homeland Security, local law enforcement, FBI, Secret Service, right? Secret Service is coordinating everything, but everyone has a different assignment. And clearly there was a lapse in what happened outside that perimeter based on the fact that there was nobody up there on the roof. I mean, in the clip, they said they were in the building, but clearly if you have a vantage point, now to Todd's point, maybe they thought the guy was going up there so we can listen to the speech or see it or whatever, but he's going up there with an AR-15, you're going up there with a gun? What do you think was going to happen? And the fact that they didn't have quicker response, the fact that this kid was able to get on an air conditioner, get on the roof, do a bear crawl with a gun up there to get line of sight, pop off 2 rounds at the president. And I mean, the fact that the sniper responded, I mean, it was weird that the fact that the snipers had line of sight to that area, but there was nobody in that area because clearly they saw that area as some type of a vulnerability. The fact that the snipers were faced that way. So yeah, I mean, there's something going on here. Now I'm not going to go and say this.
Oh my gosh, it's nothing going on.
Thank you, Aguna. Thank you, Aguna.
Aguna is crazy.
He's not. He's got eyes. He's got a brain.
Anybody can see. Now,
anybody.
Now, I'm not saying that this is some like Joe Biden, kind of thing on here. Yeah. But even if it was, he's immune. He's immune if he did this.
Okay, thank you. No cap.
No, not murder.
No cap.
Not murder.
I'm not.
No
but
cap,
for real.
Ahead,
I think part of this shows a lapse in like chain of command. With
hold on.
Crazy.
Crazy. Don't try to get all the good answers in. Damn. Leave something for everybody else. Look, man, sometimes it's just Occam's razor. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the most likely. So when you're dealing with something like this, to where he's putting on these events all the time, these rallies and things like that, people can tend to get what? Complacent and start to assume that things are going to go as they always go. We do this, we do that, we do that. We put on the event and we're out of town. And then you think about local law enforcement. Yes, the idea that you wouldn't have drone footage covering that whole area and understanding every high point to where somebody could be a threat and not have that addressed shows you we're talking about incompetence. But you guys are assuming malice here, where I just think we're talking about this was the rare black swan event that could happen, and it was based on incompetence all around. But it wasn't because people were trying to make this thing happen. If they wanted to get rid of somebody, please believe it could be done, and it wouldn't be some public event at a rally in front of his support. Like, no, it wouldn't be that.
And they would succeed at it.
Right. So, but just looking at this scenario, but just think about this: local law enforcement
barely missed.
They dropped the ball easily. We could all say that they dropped the ball. Then you think about his Secret Service allowing him to stick his head out again and raise his fist afterwards. That's like dereliction of duty, incompetent. Like that's the worst of the worst. That's almost as bad as allowing the shot. The fact that you don't know if there's another shooter and you're allowing him to stick his head out to make himself more vulnerable. Look, when Reagan got shot, one of his ribs got broken because the Secret Service was trying so hard to make sure he stayed down and pressed him down in that limo. I watched a video earlier today of Maduro down in Venezuela responding to getting shot at, and the Secret Service over there, they held up the bulletproof barriers and surrounded him immediately and didn't allow him to poke his head out or, anything to where he could actually, be in danger. So to watch that, it looked like amateur hour. But again, this is based on him throwing these events all of the time and everybody getting so used to things going as normal. It's like when a concert has a stampede. You saw that with the soccer thing down in Miami. Once you start getting complacent, that's when the tragedy can happen. And this crazy person, this Republican who wanted to, off Trump, and it appears like he wanted to set a bomb for the officers who would respond to his home later. But he wasn't smart enough to figure out how to make the bomb. But it appears that's what he was doing. But Republicans, y'all gonna have a come to Jesus moment on this, man. This is one of y'all own who tried to do.
You really believe he's a Republican?
Yes.
No, he's not a Republican. That's just.
So now you know all about the guy.
So
nobody knows all about him. But the first thing was he's a Republican, but then he gave money to somebody else in the liberal side, So we don't know. Nobody knows. But here's the Republican. Y'all are gonna have a come to Jesus moment. Y'all gonna have to come to Jesus moment.
Voted
All right,
Republican.
I'm gonna move on.
No. Before you move on, hold on. Because he doesn't know something doesn't mean other people don't know. So they found out that Democratic contribution you're talking about was from a gentleman with a similar name, but wasn't the shooter. The shooter's father is a high-ranking Republican in that area and a member of the NRA and has taught his son about guns for a long time. His classmates have said he was a staunch conservative who argued with them all of the time whenever the class discussion moved to politics. So yes, I do know. You don't.
Oh, you got all that in
because
the
you don't
last
take the
hour
time to
then.
learn. No, it's
Okay, you
real,
got
man.
all that in the last hour because
2 days.
that wasn't something that everybody would have heard by now.
How about you're not good at researching? How about that?
No, they got nothing to do with research. They don't know much about this boy. Did they find out?
Chris Christie, Governor, thank you as always for joining us. Of course, you helped Trump pick his first VP back in 2016 when he ultimately chose Mike Pence. What's your reaction to the J.D. Vance choice?
Well, Lindsay, look, it's a base choice. Donald Trump has decided that he is going to not try to expand the party by drawing in more independents and others. He's decided that what he wants to do is to try to further solidify his base. It's a reflection of how confident he feels right now about his chances of defeating Joe Biden. And J.D. Vance is a choice that's very appealing to the base, probably much less so to independents.
Did you think that perhaps someone like Nikki Haley, who might have appealed more to moderates or independents even, perhaps might have been a better choice?
No, Nikki Haley would not have been a better choice because the problem for Nikki Haley is Donald Trump knows that she doesn't stand for anything. And, J.D. Vance, while he's changed his positions over time, has been incredibly loyal to Donald Trump, which is the first and most important test that Donald Trump administers to anybody who he would put in any important position, let alone the vice presidency. Nikki Haley is trying to work her way back in by coming and speaking at the convention, releasing her delegates to Donald Trump, endorsing Donald Trump. So she's doing the best she can to work her way back, but she got nowhere near passing that test for Donald Trump. And I don't think Donald Trump believes that she brings anything at the moment to him that he needs.
Of course, today is happening in the aftermath of that attempted assassination over the weekend. Curious to know where you were when you heard about the shooting and your initial reaction.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing it because we don't have to hear his. We have our comments. The pick of J.D. Vance. Very quickly, I'm gonna go around. Cousin Todd, then Keith, then Stephen, then Aguna, then No Cap. Cousin Todd, you're on mute.
J.D. Vance said Donald Trump was Hitler. So to pick somebody who thinks you're Hitler is suspicious. He said he couldn't stand him. But then all of a sudden he flips around, just like little hand Marco Rubio. They all of a sudden start licking behind Trump again. Why? And so the reason is, one reason is, who is the richest guy who owns X now? What's his name? Elon Musk pledged to give $45 million a month if he picked J.D. Vance. Can you believe that? That's Elon Musk. So, and if you pick these two people, they are totally against a woman having an abortion, even if she was raped. J.D. Vance said that. J.D. Vance said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. So maybe when he gets raped and gets himself knocked up, he can determine for himself whether or not 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Wait a minute. How dare you trying to now? And you're going to go to Stephen?
You can't. We're running out of time. We've
Okay.
only got like 8 minutes, and you're just going on and on.
I'm
and
not
on
going
and
on and on. I'm making good sense, and you can't stand that because you're a Trump supporter.
Go ahead, Stephen.
The independents
Todd,
are.
next week, Todd, do not wear pajamas on this show. Go ahead,
I
Stephen.
don't have pajamas.
And Keith,
on.
where are your other teeth?
All right, independents are coming to MAGA without MAGA having to beg for them or to put in anybody else that might draw anybody in, because the MAGA movement is what is pulling everybody in right now. They don't need to get anybody to help balance anything out, because that's what everybody wants right now. Everybody wants to go back to where we were when Trump was president. It's even going to be better because we got to see for 4 years how bad it is. And, J.D. Vance, Todd, you were describing me. I was the same way. I was reading books about Hitler and trying to see how Trump and Hitler were raised the same way. How come Trump is like this? I felt the same way J.D. Vance does. But then, like him, I saw what Trump did. I didn't listen to his words anymore. His words didn't matter to me anymore.
Tell
like
me
they still
what he
do
did.
to you. It was the things that he did a lot of great things when he was president.
Like
he did
what?
a lot of things. He didn't start any wars. He kept our borders. He kept our borders secure. He kept our border secure. He did a lot of great things. He secured our Supreme Court.
Thank
He
you,
got those people
And he
that
helped
lied and said
he helped out black
So,
colleges because
Stacey, what
Donald
did you
Trump
want
loves everybody.
to say about Vance? What did you want?
Comment
What was the
about
question?
your thoughts on President Trump choosing J.D. Vance as his VP.
Okay, well, I have something to say about that. Definitely. I just want to say to everyone on the show and those of you listening, Trump has been under a lot of scrutiny about his character and his judgment. How he makes judgments, especially by Aguna. Aguna is very critical of Trump on that area, saying he doesn't make proper judgments or wise judgments.
Well, he cheats on all of his wives.
But what I wanted to
That's
say
okay.
was the fact that he chose Vance. That was a surprise to me too, because I don't know Vance, but Trump knew him evidently. And here's the thing I wanted to say. I want to emphasize this. Listen carefully. Vance was very negative about Trump back in 2016. He was very negative. Just as many other people like Haley, she was very negative during her campaign. Yet she spoke at the convention.
Marco Rubio.
She supported Marco Rubio, yes. Even Ted Cruz, Ted Cruz too. He was negative.
Cruz,
But here's the point.
That's because Trump said his wife was ugly.
Trump was gracious enough to still make the decision to choose to support, to allow them to come in and speak. I think that shows to me quite a bit of character and forgiveness. I love it. As a Christian, I think that is the way to go. And Trump is a Christian, a man of God, because of his decisions.
He got shot. He got humbled after that too. You could see him lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There are several points that both Keith and Stephen made that are very interesting. You saw how Stephen always goes with the same lines of it was bad the last 4 years, and now, it was better during Trump, even though the data shows it wasn't. We're making more oil. It's like 12.9 million barrels a day now. That's more than
the biggest deficit in the history of America.
No, it wasn't.
It's actually been better the last 4 years statistically than it was under Trump. Now, perception is reality. The fact that they still have this same drumbeat of it was so bad now, it was better then. That's part of the narrative. This J.D. Vance pick. Yeah, why are you guys interrupting? I'm sitting here. This J.D. Vance pick is not appealing to me, not because of, it is a double down by Trump to say, hey, you know what? I don't need to expand his base. To Stephen's point, people are going to vote for me regardless of who I pick. Let me pick this guy, J.D. Vance. I'm not a big fan of Vance because he's for tariffs. I'm not for tariffs. I'm a free market guy. So when it comes to things like inflation and things like that, you're going to see an uptick in inflation. And inflation has actually come down to Trump levels. Now, if you put tariffs and you maintain that, and because of the reset after COVID from a supply chain standpoint, you're going to see inflation tick back up again if you keep tariffs in place. It's going to impact the consumers. Now, from just the overall conservative standpoint, the guy, he's not going to broaden your base. He's a Midwest guy. He pulled himself up from his bootstrap hillbillyology.
He wants to get rid of the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah, but here's the thing:
and replace it with nothing.
What you're going to see is a seismic shift in the way government is functioning. Now that Project 2025,
that's what it is. That's in the Project 2025.
Getting rid of government bureaucracy. So there are a lot of the chaos theory behind that. That's appealing to a lot of people because, again, deregulation, all these different things. But
education.
But you also, if you couple the Project 2025 effort, which is really making like 50,000 government political appointees or loyalists, in the government, then you also look at the Supreme Court decision to kind of shift regulation out of the government and into the court system. You're basically, you're reshaping the way this country is going to function. Whether that's going to be good or bad, it remains to see. But you get what you voted for, and so all of that coming into play. And if the American people decide this is what we want, as far as we're okay with the executive branch having this much immunity, this much power, we're okay with the Supreme Court being able to basically legislate from the bench.
That's
and
right.
we're okay with the whole stance on not only not immigration but more so the tariff aspect. That's what really concerns me.
And what about ending marriage equality? That's part of 2025.
We're out of time. I gotta get no cap in here, and then we're out of
Point of the
time.
electorate that from abortion to gay rights and all that stuff, they're saying, hey, if you don't like what we do here in Virginia, move to another state, because that's what
that's going to be
gay rights.
national.
Gay rights are not going to be touched. Nobody's going to hurt any gay people.
How would
that's
you
a
know
bunch
that,
of crap.
Keith? How would you know that?
I'm talking about that LGBTQ. At the bottom line of it is, it's going to get pushed down to the states, right, wrong, or indifferent. And we're going to see that shift, the power shifted back to the states. And you're going to see people living in places where they feel that their voices are being heard. It's not going to be at the federal level anymore. The federal government is going to go away under a Trump administration.
Okay, no cap.
Or be limited.
Cap. Your comment, please.
So situations like this is where I get to the point of you think, okay, well, maybe Trump slide like a fox in certain scenarios. And then other scenarios, you're like, okay, well, this is just clearly a dumb move. So by bypassing Nikki Haley, he loses the protection on abortion, and he loses the ability to chisel away some of the votes of women from Democrats, because ultimately you can't win with just MAGA. That was the point Chris Christie made when he first started that conversation, which is a very important point. You have to expand your electorate in order to win.
Do you really, though? Is that a truth? Is that a true statement?
Just hold on. Not only can you not just win with MAGA, you actually engage the other side to come out even more, because they're so against the idea of MAGA. It goes back to the Joe Biden 81 million votes thing, where people were saying, you think Joe Biden's the most popular? No, a lot of those people were voting against Trump. And you actually are doubling down on that scenario by bringing in J.D. Vance in a way that Haley kind of would have gave you some protection. Now, let's move on to who J.D. Vance actually is. Go look up Peter Thiel tonight. Californian billionaire. His idea is deregulation in crypto. And these are the things that are good. Check out the great Dallas Mavericks owner, Mark Cuban. Check out his thread on this today, where he kind of got into some of the Peter Thiel stuff with J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a horrible candidate. He doesn't provide anything, but he gives Trump the one thing Trump likes, which is loyalty and the ability to degrade someone. That's why we get that video clip of Trump forgetting his name on stage 2 years ago when he was coming to rally for J.D. To try to win his election. But J.D. Vance, again, understand who that guy is. Anti-regulation, the idea of a functioning government that exists for everybody, and the billionaire coalition that's behind him, that's in California. You talked about Elon, guaranteeing he's going to throw that money in every month. They're doing this because they want the tax cut and the deregulation, and they're going to ravage this economy. This is some robber baron-esque stuff that's going on, and that's why J.D. Vance was brought on. I don't think most people know who that guy is.
Totally over their head.
Read the book. He'll be hold on, Aguda. Read the book. He'll be the ideology. You can watch the movie too, but just get an idea on who this guy is. He is one of the swarmiest, scammiest guys you could ever think of. His wife used to clerk for a Supreme Justice. She worked as a Democrat for all these years. And then when the winds changed and it became profitable for her to go to the other side, that's what she did. And that's what you're seeing with J.D. Vance, which is why he was so adamant that Trump was unqualified, ignorant, and everything else. But the moment an opportunity came, hey, he's going to come to Ohio and allow me to try to win this election. Cool, I'm with him. So now he's Team Trump. Like, that's how these people kind of look
That's
at the
how they
world.
are.
It's all about ambition and power. So
It's just
JD Vance,
his opinion, everybody. That's just his opinion, not the show's opinion.
But you got to look at the map.
Opinion.
You got to look at the map,
not
Nas.
just but you think JD Vance?
Thank you.
But
no, let me just this last point, Stacey. You got to look at the
check
map.
out his debate against the guy from Ohio that he actually ended up beating. Ohio is going to be a battleground state because of JD. Just watch what I'm telling you.
I don't know how accurate that is, because if you look at the map,
really
look
unpopular.
at Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Those are the 3 states, and of course you got Nevada, Arizona. Now you got New Hampshire. So you look at the polling. All you really got to do, again, JD Vance is from the Midwest. He's getting behind the MAGA narrative. If you can get Pennsylvania or Michigan in play and win Wisconsin and maybe even Minnesota, I mean, the map is kind of expanded to Republican leaning in places where Biden carried handedly the first go around. So that the fact that you got to spend money in Pennsylvania now, you got to spend money in Michigan, you got to spend money in Wisconsin. You might as well forget about Georgia. You might as well forget about Arizona now. You got Nevada.
No, those are battleground states. Georgia, Arizona, and Texas. Texas, which has never really been in play. Texas is actually
the women.
becoming
Where are
a
you
more
getting?
purple state.
Where are you getting
The women, this abortion thing.
Because even Virginia is a battleground state now. Virginia hasn't been in place since 2004. So what's happening now, because it's not because
Wow, because Trump's so not popular, Virginia's in play and all these states are in play. You can't say Trump's not popular. Trump's being Trump and everybody's headed towards Trump. That's what's happening.
Okay.
Y'all are just gonna be left behind.
Thank you.
No,
we're
we're
out of
talking-
time to our first.
Stacey, real quick. We're talking about shifting
said that last
demographics in
time.
those states. There's younger people in Virginia now. That's why Virginia is different. There's different people in Texas, especially Austin. That's why it's different. So what Guna said is true. He's got to split those states. I'm not so sure he can.
Those young people don't vote consistently, right?
Thank
So
you.
all you have to do is rally the base, which is what Trump is doing. What Trump is doing tactically is he's doubling down. He's saying, I'm going to have enough angry white men to go out here to the poll in these battleground states and put me over the top. I don't need to expand my electorate. I don't need to be diverse and all those other things. If I get the conservative and the angry folks out and the people that just love the fact that they
Diversity is going towards him. Diversity is going towards him.
There's not enough.
All right. To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you. Thank you to our women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose to on the show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican, the voice of reason, as he puts there on the screen, Keith, the constitutional conservative,
iron it.
Stephen, the independent thinker,
He actually combed his hair today.
and my cousin Todd with pajamas on.
Louis Vuitton.
42, the pajama jammy jam.
Yeah, if we could have cut some of the waste of space of Keith and Stephen out, me and Aguna probably really could have gotten into something with this electoral thing. It's a really important, interesting conversation. Much more interesting than
It is exactly.
So let me do my outro, and then you all can continue. Okay. So, check us out on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network, and like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We'll see you next week. Go ahead, get into it, Aguna and No Cap.
Look, man, the map does not look good for Biden. And part of it is perception versus reality. Now, there are a lot more Democrats registered than Republicans, but you also got to take into consideration new voters, celebrity voters, as well I'll call them, independents in these battleground states. And I disagree that Texas is a battleground state, Georgia is a battleground state, North Carolina, all these are Republican red-leaning states. And these are states that, yeah, I get it that more people, young people are moving there and, they're changing demographics, but those demographics that are changing in those particular states don't vote consistently, and they're not enthusiastic about President Biden right now. There's no like ground surge of support for what Biden's just trying to maintain. He's trying to defend his record. And again, Republicans are lambasting him on his record, not on facts, but just on perception, right? And so if you
but Aguna, you making the mistake of talking about Biden as far as the contest. We don't know if he's going to be there, so that's not even worthy of discussion.
He's not.
He carried Georgia last time. So the fact that happened, Biden did. That's why we got the phone call. Where he told that man to find those votes. Remember?
By 14,000 votes in Georgia. Georgia is heavily leaning Republican now. You know, because
I'm in Georgia. I'm just telling you, man, that the roots that Stacey put here, those grassroots movements, they're still here, bro.
So
that's going to be a fight.
I get it, because the Atlanta suburbs, Atlanta proper can carry the state, but you got to get out the vote. I mean, you don't even have to have other county other than you may have Chatham and you may have Columbia County near Augusta. Yeah,
right.
If you can, but Atlanta can carry it all. But at the same time, enthusiasm, is there a groundswell of enthusiasm in Georgia like it was 4 years ago compared to this MAGA
right
stuff?
And that's where we get back to the main point, which is there are going to be a lot of people who show out not because of Joe Biden or Kamala if she ends up being the one. It's because they're against him. It's in order to block him. And that's going to drive turnout.
And the abortion.
And again, when we talk about the suburbs and the independents, if he's not flipping those, that's going to be a problem for him. This idea that you can win with just the MAGA base, that's why he lost last time. He didn't.
Okay, now let's look.
No, it was stolen.
Let's look at this happen. But let's look at this happen. You had a perceived bad debate by Joe Biden. You've had multiple. You had the immunity claim by the Supreme Court, right? You got the dismissal of the documents case, right?
That's what we didn't talk about either.
You got Joe Biden getting COVID. You got this convention in which this resurgent Trump comes in there, floats in there, God ordained with the little badge on.
He was already in the lead. He was already going to win. He didn't need any of this.
So he floats in here, right?
But
so
you're still talking about the same base, Aguna.
No, I get it.
Expansion,
But
Aguna said last week. You said last week Trump was going to win. You know he's going to win if they don't kill him.
But what's happening is you don't hear anything on policy. So it's
and why do you think these people who gonna get tax cuts want to kill him? They don't want to kill him. They're gonna put him in or Biden.
No, you can always find somebody stupid enough to kill somebody.
It's no longer about policy. We're talking policy. We're talking numbers. We're talking facts. No, it's not about that anymore. It's not because Trump has
the ultimate.
I don't know if he strategically did it or not.
Turnout
he moved away from content about policy. He moved it pure about perception. It's pure about image. It's about you're not getting into the weeds that Biden was trying to project numbers and make sense and do all that stuff. It's like, look, this guy can't even hold a sentence. You think he wants to be a president? That's what is coming down to a high school popularity contest.
But it's so easy. How could you vote for Biden right now? How could you vote for him?
You could ask the same question about Trump, and that's the problem.
No, you couldn't. Donald Trump is more famous than Mohammed right now.
But you're just
more famous.
You just proved my point. It's not about substance, it's about style.
I'm saying yes, but this was like the cherry on top that he didn't even need. He didn't even need to get shot to get to win. He was already way in the lead in every state.
He wasn't way in the lead.
But he was in the lead of every questionable.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. Or he was tied, or he was close. He didn't really need it. He didn't need to get almost killed to get more popularity. But it doesn't hurt.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, that's the stupid part of the conversation that we weren't having.
No, it's not. He was already way ahead. Joe Biden could say on 2 words, but he's going to beat Trump.
He wasn't way ahead.
He wasn't.
He was way ahead in your head.
No, he was way ahead in the polls,
Women
right?
are not going to vote for him. Housewives and women.
Housewives are going to vote for him. Yes, they are.
They're not
of every creed and color.
In the 5% margin of error. You keep on saying this because you're pulling it out your behind, but if you look
no,
at
I'm not.
Exactly
5% margin of error. You're talking about 3 to 4 points. It's always been a close race. So leaning ahead
But
now.
Donald Trump's he's been ahead this entire time. It's not even a
Where?
contest.
No,
Where?
that's not true
Where?
either.
It is.
That's
It
not
is.
true.
It's
Just
not
stop
even a
saying it.
contest.
Where was
And
he?
now it's
Where was
really
he
not a
ahead?
contest.
Where was he
Why
ahead, Stephen?
are you so
In
He
your
was
head?
ahead
point that
in
is wrong?
this states. What states? Pennsylvania.
He was not.
Yes, he
not
was.
ahead.
He
was
still
not
is.
ahead in Pennsylvania.
God, man.
Still
He's
is.
up by 2 points now in Pennsylvania.
Let me say this.
This is
That's
fucking
within the
frustrating,
4%
man.
margin, 5%
He's
It's
still
like
up.
talking to a
He's up.
7-year-old.
He's up almost everywhere.
Okay, let me
There's
say
no
this.
way he's gonna lose.
You're just pulling
Steve,
that out of
Right,
your
man.
ass, Stephen.
No, I'm
Get some
not.
water.
Yes.
Get
Yeah,
some
you're
water.
just saying that
Go
over and
get some
over again
water.
like it's a fact. It's not.
No, it is a fact.
It is so fun watching the left disagree with each other. I love it.
Okay.
They're all fighting.
Laguna's a Republican.
Again, I am
At
not
least
the
you're a
left just
Republican.
because,
Yes,
again,
you are.
I'm
You're
a free
a
market
loony
guy.
right
Yes, you
winger who
are.
believes whatever they tell you because you're a mother.
You're
Yeah,
the
I mean,
left.
look, there's no such thing as left and right if you actually
You're
think
allowed.
about it.
Exactly.
You just,
And
again,
that's
that's a narrative.
but Aguna, you see what just happened? That's what
Yeah.
I was talking about. That Trump coalition, when you get with moderate Republicans, some of them are going to say, no, I don't want any part of that. As Keith just showed you, you're not with them. He said, you're not like us. You're not like us. That's what he just told you.
JD Vance. JD
That's all
Vance
it
is
is.
against tariffs.
It's
Oh,
just
he's
gonna be
for
different.
tariffs. I'm against tariffs. So that makes me a liberal because I'm against tariffs.
Yeah, but that's one thing. You might agree with him on. Not everybody can agree with everybody on everything.
That's a pretty big thing, though, Stephen. That's not like a small
Really?
issue. It's a big
Really?
issue.
Yeah. No, I mean,
That's just one thing. That
How a
one
nation
thing
conducts
impacts
their
how
healthcare,
how did
inflation,
these
Inflation,
tariffs
taxes.
how did these tariffs hurt you so bad when you did it last time, Aguna? Did you lose all your money?
It did
No,
hurt.
it increased
Prices went up.
inflation.
You
Yeah,
had to get a new job.
Yes.
Did you have to do Uber
Yes.
Eats?
I had to pay more money for consumer goods. A lot
My
of the
bad, dude.
inflation,
I thought you was
the tariffs he had.
my boy from work. My
He
bad.
started a trade. He almost started a
I
trade
thought you
war
was
with
my boy
China.
from work. My
The only
bad.
reason why he removed the tariffs is because he had his ties were being made in China.
Nah,
he
come on
lowered
now.
tariffs in order to get his ties back in the country.
Yeah,
Tariffs in
you're
China.
right.
Did you
That
all
was the
let
homie.
You
Todd?
don't
Did you all
understand how
let
this
Todd
supply
say
chain
something?
works.
I think
Todd,
cousin Todd
Sorry,
wanted to
man.
say something, and you all wouldn't
No.
let cousin Todd say anything.
it's just
No,
everything's so
I'm fine.
Every
absurd
time
right
he was
now.
gonna get in, I got triggered. My bad, Todd.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't have nothing to say.
So Stephen and Keith, you guys gotta next time on this show. I mean, I keep
That was
challenging
the
you guys.
point I was
Do
trying
your
to prove
research, read a book or
Aguna
something.
was
You guys come in
they
here with
don't
the same
see they don't
emotional
see you
bull crap
as
every
the
show.
same, Aguna.
We're
They
just
say the
right.
same thing every
I know you're upset. I know you're triggered, but we're just right,
No,
and you're just
actually,
wrong.
we're not.
You're
We're
wrong.
not.
You're just wrong, and I understand that's got to feel bad. It's probably hard to sleep at night. I
Right.
get it, man. We feel you. We're not bad people. We just want you to finally open your eyes, open your mind,
Yeah,
and look at things
so
objectively.
Aguna.
Look at things
to
things
himself in the mirror.
objectively.
So Aguna.
Hey, Nas, he's talking to himself in the mirror.
Yeah,
You're gonna
Aguna,
get there,
Aguna.
Aguna. I wouldn't keep trying if I didn't think you were gonna get there, Aguna.
Look at
You
him,
too,
look at him.
Todd.
He's
No, I
talking to
gave up.
himself.
I gave up on Cap.
All right.
All
Does
right,
Todd
cool.
want to say anything? We're going to say goodnight.
No.
All right. Well, before you do that, I just want to show you, Aguna, that there's going to be a lot of independents and never Trump Republicans who are either going to stay home or they're going to vote on the other side. And that's why he can't win with just that base. He has to expand it. And these people talking about black men that are going to come out, dude, he's going to need at least 13% of the black
Forget
vote.
it.
He's got to snatch that
he's
away
got
from Joe
26.
Biden in order to win.
Forget it.
He's
What?
got 26.
See what I mean? Like, that's just nonsense. Like, he got
Well,
9
doesn't
last.
he have to snatch?
He needs.
Doesn't he
Yeah,
have to
no.
snatch that
The
away?
tides are
Excuse
turning.
me.
Y'all got to take it off your channels
Excuse
and
me.
go somewhere
Doesn't
else.
he have to snatch that? Doesn't he have to snatch that away from the current vice president?
Kamala?
And nothing.
Yeah, which is a good point because the
Just-
Kamala problem. Look, I don't think y'all realize the Kamala problem. The Kamala problem is the right wing echo chamber is so turned their dials towards racism that they're going to have a difficult time covering Kamala without pissing off a lot of black people in how they cover her. So that's going to be a difficult needle for y'all to thread. I want to see how they handle it because you got to
Wow.
be critical. It's an election, but how critical are you going to be?
We'll
and
never get
where-
away from the race card, will we, Keith? We
No.
never will. They got to
No, we're
use it.
talking
They ain't got
about
nothing
real
else,
life.
man. They're desperate. They
Yeah, we're talking
desperate.
about real life.
Look at the echo
So
chamber.
again,
They're
Aguna,
desperate,
You
man.
just proved this point. You just proved this point.
Yeah, they're gonna get.
See?
So Aguna, if you're attacking Kamala, the most effective way we've seen was Tulsi Gabbard going after her record as a cop, as a prosecutor, saying you
Right.
were overwhelmingly not lenient for black people. You attack black. That's how they're going to have to go after her. But they've
They
been
will.
going after her intelligence. They've been calling her stupid and all this
Well,
other shit when she's the only person up there with 2 PhDs. You see
it
what
don't
I'm
matter how
saying?
many PhDs you got, you can still be
It
stupid.
actually does.
Steve.
No, you've heard her talk. Have you not heard her talk?
Adults are
You've
talking.
heard her
Two
speak. She
PhDs
hasn't said
don't
one
matter.
thing intelligent since she's been there.
Show me your PhD.
Show me
Stephen.
what she has done.
Show
That
me
shit is
your
crazy.
PhDs.
Show me what she
That
has
shit is
done.
crazy, bro.
Exactly.
Well, has she,
Hey, that's
Island
hey,
Drop.
that's
And
play. Hey,
she
you know how she got to where she is now.
Here
Maybe
you
she
go.
got that
Here
way
you
through
go.
school too.
Here you
Maybe
go.
she got that way through school.
Maybe she got that
See
way
my
through
point? See my
school.
point is proven?
Maybe she got that
See
way
my
through
point?
school.
Maybe
That's
she
why
got that
they
way
should
through
have
school,
separate
fool.
schools. They should have separate schools.
They gonna have a
Thank you.
they
Good
gonna have a
night.
hard
And the
time.
other
with
folk.
Good night.
Nobody's worried about her. Nobody's
Good
worried
night.
about her.
Show me
funny.
them degrees, Stephen.
And then
Show me them
nobody's